reservoirs of the Force. A Sith channeling pure rage is a conduit of power a Jedi cannot comprehend. We feel more deeply, and therefore we are more powerful. Book XL, The Fourth Lie. There is no chaos, there is harmony. 1. The illusion of order. Harmony is a construct. It is the imposition of an artificial order upon a chaotic reality. The Jedi try to force the galaxy into a shape that pleases them. They mediate disputes, they draw borders, they write laws. They try to garden a jungle, but the jungle always grows back. Chaos is the engine of change. Without chaos, there is no innovation. Without the collapse of the old, the new cannot rise. 2. The agents of entropy. The Sith are the agents of necessary chaos. We kick down the rotting structures so that stronger ones can be built. We understand that you cannot have a forest without a wildfire. You cannot have a strong society without a war to test it. The Jedi try to stop the wildfire. They only ensure that when it finally comes, it will consume everything. Book XLI, The Final Lie. There is no death, there is the Force. 1. The acceptance of defeat. This is the ultimate surrender. When a Jedi dies, they let go. They allow their consciousness to dissolve into the cosmic soup of the Force. They lose their name, their memories, their self. They call it transcendence. It is annihilation. 2. The will to remain. The Sith refuses to go quietly into the night. We value the I. I am, I want, I will. Why spend a lifetime accumulating power and wisdom only to throw it away at the moment of death? We fight for immortality. We fight to retain our identity. To die is to lose the game. We intend to win. Book XL42, The Synthesis. The Sith Code. I, the truth, contrast their lies with our truth. Peace is a lie. There is only passion. We accept reality as it is, a struggle. Through passion, I gain strength. We use our emotions as fuel. Through strength, I gain power. We convert that fuel into tangible agency. Through power, I gain victory. We achieve our goals. Through victory, my chains are broken. We achieve the ultimate goal, freedom. The Force shall free me. 2. The broken chains. The Jedi are chained by their code. They are slaves to the Council, slaves to the Senate, slaves to the will of the Force. The Sith is free. We serve no one but ourselves. We do not ask the Force for permission. We command it. We break the chains of morality, of expectation, of mortality itself. The Jedi serve the Force. The Sith are the Force. End of Volume 7. Archival note. Morale suppression field activated. Do not read further. Jedi Archive. Restricted access. Level 10. Catalog ID 88-DSC-Vol 8. Artifact. The Rule of Two. Volume 8. The Lost Lords. Origin. Fragmented data, crystalline structure, recovered from the asteroid field of Roche. Attributed to Darth Redacted, Keeper of the Dead. Archivist note. Volume 8 chronicles the lives of Sith Lords who do not appear in standard Jedi histories. These figures operated in total secrecy. Their existence proves that the 1,000 years of peace was, in fact, 1,000 years of silent preparation. Preface. The Hollow of Fame. The Jedi seek to be remembered. They build statues in their temple. They record their deeds in the great HOLOCRON. They want their names to be spoken with reverence by future generations. The Sith cares nothing for fame. Fame is a liability. Fame is a target painted on your back. The greatest Sith Lords are those whose names were never whispered, even in the shadows. They lived, they conquered, and they died in silence, content in the knowledge that they had pushed the grand plan 1 centimeter closer to the edge. This volume honors the ghosts. Book XL33, The Administrator, Darth Vectivus. 1. The Heresy of Contentment. Darth Vectivus is an anomaly in our history. He was not a warrior. He was not a conqueror. He was the director of a mining operation on an asteroid near Bimial. He is the only Sith Lord to die of old age, surrounded by friends and family who knew nothing of his true nature. To the ignorant, he seems weak, but Vectivus proved a crucial theorem. The dark side does not require madness. He wielded the Force like a ledger. He accumulated power through commerce, through shrewd negotiation, through the cold application of logic. 2. The Phantom Network. Vectivus did not destroy the Republic. He bought it. He established the network of shell corporations and blind trusts that would fund the Order for centuries. He taught us that a contract can be more binding than a chain. He taught us that if you control the supply of Tibanna gas, you do not need to fire a blaster. You simply turn off the enemy's heat. He was the architect of our economic dominance. Book XL, The Scientist, Darth Ramage. I, the physics of hate. Darth Ramage was a scholar of the impossible. While others studied the Force, he studied the fabric of reality itself. He believed that the Force was merely a variable in a larger equation of time and space. He conducted experiments on the nature of time dilation within the core. He sought to create time locks, pockets of reality where a Sith could train for a decade in the span of a single day. 2. The Malachor experiments. His research was dangerous. He nearly unmade himself on Malachor V, attempting to harness the gravity of the mass shadow generator. Though he failed to master time, his failures birthed the technology of the interdictor cruisers. The gravity well projectors that pull ships from hyperspace are based on Ramage's notes. Even in failure, the Sith advance the cause of war. Book XV, The Savior, Darth Bane. I, the price of loyalty. We have spoken of the traitor Gravid. Now we speak of the one who stopped him. Darth Bane was an apprentice when her master went mad. She was not ready to ascend. She had not completed her training. Yet, when Gravid began to burn the lore, she did not hesitate. She fought him with bare hands and a half-constructed lightsaber. She took a blade through the chest and still drove her thumbs into his eyes. 2. The Broken Link. Bane spent the rest of her life in an envirosuit, her body shattered by the battle. She had to relearn the ways of the Sith from scraps. She is the reason we exist. She represents the ultimate resilience of the lineage. She taught us that the rule of two is not just about power. It is about stewardship. We are the custodians of a flame that must never go out. Book X6, The Hedonist, Darth Guile. I, the Poisoned Cup. Dark but natural, deep manifesto-like tone. Dark and subtly evil, like an ancient Sith Lord from Star Wars. Uncaring, like this is a waste of time. Darth Guile was a creature of the Senate. He was handsome, charismatic, and utterly depraved. He did not hide in caves. He lived in the highest spires of Coruscant. His weapon was blackmail. He hosted the most lavish parties in the Corps, attended by senators, admirals, and Jedi. He recorded everything. Every illicit affair, every bribe, every moment of weakness. 2. The Spider's Web. Guile did not use the Force to control the Senate. He used shame. He owned the secrets of half the galaxy. He taught the lineage that everyone has a vice. If you can find a man's vice, you own his soul. He turned the Republic's morality against itself, proving that the virtuous leaders of the galaxy were nothing but hypocrites waiting for permission to sin. Book XL7, the designer, Darth Tenebris. I, the Bith intellect. Darth Tenebris possessed a mind that operated on a plane beyond most organic beings. He saw the galaxy as a complex machine. He calculated the grand plan down to the decimal point. He predicted the rise of the Chosen One, the fall of the corporations, and the inevitability of the Clone Wars, not through prophecy, but through statistical analysis. 2. The Maxichlorians. Tenebris sought to engineer the Force itself. He identified the Maxichlorians, the hypothetical consciousness of the Force. He sought to infect the Force with a virus of his own design, to prevent the Jedi from sensing the growing darkness. Though he was eventually outmaneuvered by his apprentice, as is the way, his designs laid the blueprint for the final victory. He built the ship. His successor merely took the helm. Book XL48, The Nameless, The Interstitial Lords. I, the Gaps in History. There are gaps in the timeline, periods of 50 or 60 years where the Jedi record shows nothing. No dark side incidents, no mystery attackers. These are the reigns of the Nameless, the lords who did absolutely nothing but train. 2. The Discipline of Silence. To have the power of a god and do nothing is the hardest test of all. These lords spent their entire lives perfecting a single technique, or hoarding credits, or simply waiting. They sacrificed the satisfaction of action for the purity of the plan. They are the mortar between the bricks. Without them, the wall would have crumbled. They prove that patience is the sharpest blade of all. End of Volume 8. Archival Note. Data corruption eating remaining sectors. Recovering Volume 9. Jedi Archive, Restricted Access. Level 10, Catalog ID, 88-Descendant, Volume 9. Artifact, The Rule of Two, Volume 9, The Architecture of Fear. Origin, recovered from a derelict automated dreadnought adrift in the unknown regions. Attributed to Darth, Grand Admiral of the Sith. Archivist Note. Volume 9 details the Tarkin Doctrine centuries before Tarkin was born. It outlines the transition from a hidden order to a galactic empire ruled by the threat of overwhelming force. It contains theoretical schematics for planetary-scale weaponry. Preface: The Calculus of Obedience. Why do beings obey laws? Is it out of respect? Is it out of love? No. These are fragile motivations. They shatter under pressure. The only universal motivator is fear. fear. Fear is the oldest emotion. It is hardwired into the brainstem of every sentient creature in the galaxy. To rule the galaxy, the Sith must become the architect of its nightmares. We must build a structure of terror so imposing that the mere thought of rebellion causes the spirit to break. Book XL, The Doctrine of the Threat. Rule by Fear. 1. The economy of violence. It is inefficient to kill everyone who opposes you. It wastes ammunition. It wastes labor. True power is not the act of destruction. It is the threat of destruction. If you destroy a city, you have a pile of rubble. If you threaten to destroy a city and the people believe you, you have a city of slaves who will work twice as hard to keep you happy. 2. The visibility of power. For 1,000 years we have hidden, but when the time comes to rule, we must be visible. Our power must be undeniable. We must build ships that block out the sun. We must build stations that look like moons. The galaxy must look up at the sky and feel small. The architecture of the Empire must scream dominance. A Star Destroyer is not just a warship. It is a psychological weapon designed to crush hope before a single turbolaser is fired. Book L, The Planet Killers, Superweapon Theory. 1. The Ultimate Silence. The lightsaber is a duelist's weapon. It kills one man. The Sith require weapons that kill worlds. The ancient Sith built the mass shadow generator. Bane used the thought bomb. These were crude, but the intent was pure. To silence 1 billion voices in a single instant. We must perfect this technology. We must build a weapon that can crack a planetary crust as easily as an egg. This is not for war. It is for order. If a planet rebels, it is not conquered. It is removed. The example will keep 1,000 other systems in line. 2. The Kyber amplification. The Jedi use Kyber crystals for their little swords. They do not understand the crystal's true potential. A giant Kyber crystal, properly stimulated, produces energy output comparable to a star. If we can harness this energy, if we can bleed a crystal the size of a building, we can create a laser that ignores shields, ignores armor, and ignores hope. Book LI, The Plague of the Mind, Biological Terror. 1. The Targeted Culling. Blasters are messy.